Serve podcast 336. Very excited, keeping the Meet the Team mini series going with Corey Nelson and part of Tell Your Best Story episode number 8. All about those stories. And I'm very excited to have Corey on because Corey is our storyteller supreme, somebody who really focuses on nothing but the story, especially through video and audio. And somebody's been with us for coming up on a year. What a fucking year it's been, as everybody knows. And so I'm excited to introduce everybody to Corey. With no further ado, Corey, good to see you.
How's it going?
I'm loving this, man. You know how much I love to get up here and find meaningful people with meaningful stories. And, you know, it occurred to me that we need to be building up the people that it takes to put on this wild thing called Best Served. So I'm excited to have you here. So, you know, like, let's give everyone a little bit of background on you. We'll talk obviously about everything that we do with Best Served and how all this came about, but just to get to know you, what are you into? You know, where you've been, like, where you're from. Give people some a little bit of the origin story.
Yeah, my origin story. So born and raised Denver, Colorado, Lakewood. As a kid, I can remember, you know, like making videos with my friends, editing them, doing stuff like that. And I kind of thought of it mostly as a hobby, didn't really do much with it. Went to school, went to college, got a degree in geology. Couldn't really find a full-time geology gig, so I was working in construction engineering for a while, and it just wasn't really what I wanted to do. I kept trying to break into the geology field more, and just wasn't really having any luck. And one day, I heard on the radio a ad for the Colorado Media School, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to, you know, be on the radio or do this, that, you know, with TV?" And I was like, what's stopping me? I know me and you talk a lot about Gary Vaynerchuk, and he always talks about, what's going to make you happy, chasing your dreams, I guess. And I said, why not? Let's see, you know, I'll give it a try. So I went to the school, kind of realized that when I was making videos and stuff as a kid, that was probably something I should have chased harder as a career path. I guess I didn't see it as a career path, but I was like, right. I probably should have done this. So I started going to school there. I had been doing my own podcast with my friends, so I was kind of already involved in the media side. And I thought that the media industry, especially the internet, was very like popping off, growing, I guess you could say, like growing really, really, really fast. And it was kind of an industry that I wanted to get involved with. I didn't want to just be on the radio or be on TV, on the news, or working something like that. I definitely wanted to be more involved in the internet and the Internet of Things. So went there and got my certificate degree, I guess you could say, and hooked up with you along the way. And, you know, fast forward, here we are.
Yeah. So a couple things on that. I think it's interesting that you kind of found something, and I think so often we get put on this path where the thing that we wanted to do or thought was just a hobby or something we were into as kids turns out like that was just you having the foresight to see something that just was innately in you. And so I think we fight against that a lot. I appreciate that for sure. And yeah, shout out to Colorado Media School. Make sure and drop a link to them because you started as an intern. Like, I came down, Debbie Bird invited me down to come, you know, speak to some students and talk about what we were doing. And this was, you know, early on when it was still kind of just an audio podcast. And then we were transitioning at the onset of the pandemic into video. And so, you know, I guess, you know, what was potentially interesting about this? You were just trying to find internships, anything that was on the internet, anything that was video content. Like, how did it come about? I'm fascinated. We're like, what the fuck is this guy working on? Let's go see what's up here. You're just like, I need to fill some hours. What was that like? That moment that you said yes, and then we're here now.
Yeah. You know, I remember, for school, you have to have a certain amount of hours. So I was kind of looking all over where I could get some hours. And I remember seeing your internship posted like right when I started, probably like February or March. And it was probably like June, maybe like mid-June. And the posting was still up. And I was like, well, either he needs more interns or nobody's intern for it yet. And it was, you said it was a podcast content. And I was like, I already do all that stuff on the side. I've been doing it for my personal podcast for almost a year now. I definitely could easily chop up audio and put it onto the internet, to distribute it for the podcast and stuff. And so I just sent over my resume, and I'm like, either this is filled or it's not. What's going to happen? And I remember you like called me and you're just like, I don't care about what's on your resume or what you're doing. I just want to know, like, what's your goal? Like, what's your dream? What do you want to do? And I think I mentioned like possibly like working for Barstool or something like that. And I just said I wanted to be in media. And you're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. All right, let's do it. And I was like, just like that? And you're like, yeah, just like that. I'll call you again like later this week or something, and we'll start getting you work. And I was like, all right, cool. And just kind of happened like that. And obviously it was a good match, and a match made in heaven, I guess you could say, because I'm still doing it and we're still rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it's so funny that you break it down like that. I mean, as part of like best served content, I'm like ripping the resume and the whole job hiring process to shreds, because it's just like, what do you want to do? Like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Not like, I never read your resume, or Sophie, who's like leading a lot of the stuff we do. I never read your resume. I listened to one of your podcast episodes, maybe like 12 minutes of it, but it's probably 30, 40 minutes or something. I listened to 12 minutes. I was like, yes, this is somebody that's like interesting, because there was a link on there. So I keep seeing content as the true form of communication, not like this resume, this piece of paper that didn't tell me anything about you. But just listening to a couple minutes of that podcast, I could tell a lot about you. Or with Sophie, I read blog posts that she had written that she didn't even know and remember were like linked up on her email signature. And so I think we need to look deeper into the way that people communicate. And a resume is not the way that Corey Nelson communicates. You do it through audio and video. So, and then I'm just big on like shifting. I always was like forcing people to like earn my trust. Trust is earned. And now I'm like, I'll give you the trust. Let's figure out the rest later. And so I was like, yeah, let's just do it. Like, you want to create something, I want to create something. Let's try and create something together. And so being on this path now that you went from intern to now we're going to start adding people onto the AV department. Like, what the hell does that even mean? We don't know what the hell we're doing, but we continue to do it and continue to bring people into orbit and continue to tell stories. And so I'm just grateful for that. And so I want to dig in that a little bit. This has been challenging for us, is like, we realize that you making the audio and the video of what we do is not easy, yet it is the easy part of what we do, because we work so hard to build the infrastructure, the communication vehicle, and then the video and audio lays over the top of that. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I think a lot of people who are watching, listening, might be in a similar place. Like, I love making videos. Like, my stuff's always, fire. I love doing audio. Yet they don't understand that the audio and the video is just like the extension of your ability to find the story and bring it together, especially if you want to do it professionally. Let's talk about that a little bit. Our script process, our planning process, how we've struggled to figure that out. What's kind of that insights you might have on that front?
Yeah, I think, when you're just making videos as a hobby or for friends, whatever, you have an idea in your head and you're like, okay, we'll put these scenes together, and then there you have a video, and I think when I first started, it was cut off the ends of this audio or this video, put the intro and outro on and upload it, and we're calling it good.
Yep.
And you kind of get, I guess, stuck in those mindsets. And then we decided we were going to make another type of video. And while it was good and it had like the scenes that it needed, it didn't really like do anything for you or tell you anything. It just kind of was like, here's the information, which isn't bad in itself. But I think with what we're doing at Best Served, there's a little bit more like story and nuance and like feeling that needs to get pushed through, instead of just like a your run of the mill like video or ad or something like that. So I think personally that's something that I struggled with a lot. I also think that I didn't at first understand everything that was going on. So like really fully immersing, I guess, yourself in the type of content you're making. So, at first, if I was just making a video for you and you're the one who's talking about all the things that we're trying to do to change restaurants, But for me, who I only ever worked at Domino's Pizza in college, yeah, I don't have
Right.
restaurant experience. I think it was hard for me to kind of get my head around it. But once I eventually did, I felt like then we both were on the same page. But yeah, definitely a lot of struggles in like how to tell a story, figuring out what we wanted to get across, because there's so many different messages that you can, or feelings you can convey, and then using the tools to convey that. I think the first script we ever had was a blank document, and we were like, we wanted this, then this, then this, then this, then this, and then we didn't touch it, and then we came back to it, and you're like, no, we don't want to do this anymore, and so we basically blew it up, made another script, and went through it, and then decided, we want to do the classic. I don't know who the guy is; he's escaping me. But the
hero's journey, Joseph Campbell.
That's what it is. The hero's journey, and you really can apply that hero's journey to any type of video. But the way I like to think about it, because when you think about it as the hero's journey, I think it used to confuse me, because you think of an actual hero. But if you think
it can be a little like daunting. That's like super heavy and big, and you're just trying to get a small message across sometimes.
Right, exactly. But I think when you think about it as like the classic who, what, when, where, why, and you apply those, like, who is the person? What are they doing? What are they trying to do? And why are they trying to do that? What's the reason of that? What's the outcome of that? Who else are we talking to? Where is it happening? And how are they getting it done? You can apply that to the hero's journey, and it makes it so much better, because you're kind of setting up that scene, I guess, reinforcing that scene again and again and again, and then showing how what you said was going to happened, or it's going to start happening. So
yeah, it's that story
insight.
Arc, right? That we're always trying to create. I think what you mentioned, that you have to really immerse yourself. I think the ability to be a storyteller is all about being able to first transport yourself into the story, or into the community, or into the brand, or into the person, to be able to really understand. I keep saying the thing behind the thing, that's the real thing. Your ability to find that thing, that's the actual gift that somebody who's a storyteller has. And then you just use the skills, the technical and practical skills that you have to be able to produce the video, produce the audio, make a TikTok video. Like, those pieces are just the practical application. But I see a lot of people focusing so much on the medium itself and not the story. And so I think that was a key element for us, is to understand the story. And so appreciate that. We're always like thinking about what's the emotional roller coaster somebody might be going on, and trying to bring that forward. Other thing I wanted to bring some practical value to is there's a couple things. The script, like having that script and understanding what it is that you're trying to convey, I think is very important. I also think that it's really hard to just start making. So many people are making plans after plans after plans, and then they never do anything because they can't find the perfect plan. So we're really big on just break everything. And part of the way we break everything is just go make it, fuck it up, and then make it again, and then make it again, and then make it again. And so we've really done that. So allowing yourself the opportunity to make mistakes, I think, is very key for other creatives in any endeavor. Audio, video, for sure, especially in marketing, storytelling, in any industry. And then the other thing I want to touch on for a moment is you and I had a little bit of a breakthrough, where we're so busy, so much going on, right? My calendar is ridiculously full, and it was always like, let's just make this thing. I was like, how are we going to like set that as a priority with so many other priorities that we have? And you and I just started setting an hour on the calendar every Friday, and we just record. Like, we just say, let's make some stuff, and you come ready with a whole bunch of, hot topics, hot take type stuff, chef advice, stuff from the headlines, or this or that, or overrated, underrated, and you're just bringing these things together, and we just communicate and make. And so I'm interested, just kind of speaking to people that may not understand the value of that. What a breakthrough that was for us. And we had been working together for like 10 months and making lots and lots and lots of content, and now we're making 20 TikTok videos a week just from a 1 hour kind of get together. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think going back to what you said, people are so scared to create. If you go on the internet and you listen to any podcast or see a video or see a TikTok, There's people that have, and you say this all the time, better equipment, more money, more time to do it. And so you see that and you're like, well, the video I'm going to make is never going to be as good as that. So why would I waste my time?
Yeah.
But you're never going to get to that point if you don't start somewhere. I mean, if you look at anybody on the internet, they started with their phone or with a really bad camera or
I mean, our stuff. Look back and listen back to our stuff. It's so bad. And
yeah, I mean, you in the car or whatever, or the hats behind your head when you're
they look like,
like
Mickey Mouse ears because I thought I needed a background with hats. And
now look, you have this nice background here with shelves and a nice painting, and you just gotta keep going. And I think that the content hour is great because we've been, or I'll say you have been pushing me towards being more of a producer, less of a creator, and having that producer mindset. And so I've been dedicating time throughout the week because, it's easy to say, yeah, I'm going to do that. But if there's no reason to, I'm not going to put as much hours as I could into it. But with this, and it's even helping immerse myself more into the restaurant hospitality industry because I'm on the Reddit. I've subscribed to that subreddit where they're talking about, it's called Kitchen Confidential. And it's just a bunch of people that work in the kitchen. And, I'm seeing their posts every day, even subconsciously, not even knowing it and seeing it and like, oh, that's funny, or that's a interesting tidbit. And then I go to make the show document and I'm like, oh yeah, what was that one thing I saw about the industry? Or now I'm on restaurantindustrynews.com and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely kind of changed how I'll think about stuff now as being a producer and kind of trying to find the thing behind the thing, or what's where can we turn. For instance, I asked you what was something you wouldn't go cheap on in your restaurant, and it turned into a core value of best serve, basically, where it's not something you'd expect. You would think, oh, I don't want to go cheap on knives or this, that, and the other, dishwashing or whatever. And you said your people, so it's like looking for things like that maybe we can put a spin on towards our content. It's like changing the way my brain works. So.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, the producer over video, the technician, right? Like you got to figure out how to have the technical. We talk about in the restaurants, right? The food better be fire. Yet the food is just the proof that you are who you say you are, and your ability to tell the story is what the true value is. And so for you to be able to tell the story, that's the value. And then we make audio and video as the representation of that. But so often, so many people are so focused on that piece of content. And get good at that. And we're learning every day about algorithms and every day about the content on different styles of platform and being contextual and figuring that out, and then struggling and then failing at that and then figuring it out. But our commitment to making and creating the stories and the content, that's what's most important. I don't care if 14 people watch it, because I know that one person might reach out and say, hey, this really impacted me. And then the next thing you know, they're creating a future reality for our industry. I really, really believe that. So I appreciate you always reminding me of how the communication works on social media and on these different platforms, especially as we've really dove into TikToks, understanding Reels. You and I communicating like, wow, that one blew up. And then another one, we're like, this is going to be fire. And it totally flops. And we're like, what the hell's going on here? But that's what we're doing. It's not about what the video did. It's about what you and I are able to do together and create, because that we can scale, that we can turn into something meaningful and give more people the opportunity to go from intern to storyteller supreme.
Yeah.
So appreciate that. And with everything that we're working on, you're still producing your show, Big Time Babble. Definitely into the comments. Make sure you check out Corey and his buddies just getting weird. It's a ton of fun. And I laugh and roll my eyes and learn something new every single time. That's exactly a great emotional roller coaster. And also you're doing some freelance on Fiverr. Make sure to tell people where on Fiverr they can find you, because people need to get more TikTok videos going, and you've been producing a ton of those. Where can people find you on Fiverr?
Yeah, I believe it is fiverr.com/rockquarry. ROCKQUARRY.
Okay.
It's a pun. If you guys didn't get it, a rock quarry. I'm rock quarry because I liked rocks.
Hey, there we go. Geologist, and his name is Corey. Come on, everybody. All right. Definitely want some people in the restaurant industry or any other. Go and make your first TikTok video. Corey will help you edit that video. We're learning so much in the work that we're doing, and want to create more and more opportunities for Corey, more and more opportunities for creators and creatives in this industry and beyond. So, Corey, thanks for what you do, and get back to it. I know you got some TikTok videos to make.
More TikToks to make. Let's go.
All right, later.
Thanks.
All right, everyone. That's it. Once again, Best Served Podcast 336. Meet the team with the one and only Corey Nelson, aka Rock Quarry, aka Storyteller Supreme, aka Watch, Listen, Content Producer, all our audio and video. Once again, Tell Your Best Story, episode 8. You're going to be meeting many more of the team as we continue to grow and grow with people who really believe in our mission to amplify the worth and work of those who feed their community. That's it. Appreciate you all.